Hello and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast, a very special edition because I have with me the incredibly talented, incredibly funny, beautiful human being,
Aw, thank you.
Danielle Williams. How the heck are you?
You know, life is good. I'm doing good, and I'm
Yeah.
so excited. Thanks again for reaching out. This is so sweet of you. I
You
love
bet.
it.
You bet. And our backstory, there's not a lot to it, but I feel like we've already
No.
known each other forever.
We've known each other through the world, I want to say, because we were connecting a lot on social media.
Yeah.
You're hitting me up for shows.
Yeah.
We're going back and forth, and for some reason, it never worked
Never
out
connected.
where we can be on a show together.
Right.
But I appreciate you always reaching out and thinking of me. But then,
Yeah.
when the time is right, it always presents itself.
Boom.
2024, this is it. Look
2024 was the time.
Mhm.
And yeah, when I like 3 years ago, I got this random show at a casino that I was
Mhm.
producing. And so and it needed to be clean. So I just started hitting up on my contacts.
Yeah.
Who are the best clean comics that you know? And your name came up about 78 times. And I'm like,
Aw.
I got to reach out to you. And
Yes.
unfortunately, it didn't work out for us to
I
perform, but you've been
know.
on my radar for years. But we had never met in person
I
until
know.
last week.
Mhm.
And then the energy. I mean,
It
come
was
on.
so good.
It was electric. And
And
I
it-
was like, I got to have her on my
I
podcast.
felt it. It was the universe speaking. And I said to myself, this is amazing because I've never seen you in person.
Uh-huh.
So it was our first time meeting.
Yeah.
You were phenomenal on stage.
I was
Your
all
comedic
right.
timing and
Whatever.
just your interaction with the audience. And you know what the best compliment is?
What?
Everybody at the end, a lot of people were like, was that stage? Was that
Yeah.
pre-set up? Did he
Yeah.
already pick those people out in the audience to mess with?
No.
No. It's just you and how good you are. So it's great.
So what she's referring to is I did a show and I had my keyboard on stage and I
Yeah.
started interviewing some audience members, which is kind of my thing.
Yeah, it's
and then I
great.
improvised a song about them. And when I do that, people think like, how could he do that? These must be plants and he
Yeah.
must have gotten
Mhm.
all this information and rewrote the song
Yeah.
beforehand. But nah.
No, it was
Nah.
good.
And
And the girl, it was so spontaneous and it was so well done and it just flowed so naturally that we were all caught off guard when that girl in the front
Oh,
row
yeah.
raised her hand because she was checking you out.
I
She was
know.
hitting on you. We're like, oh, I'm about ready to get some. That was good. That was good.
Yeah. So there was a girl in the audience. It was her
Yeah.
birthday. So I was interacting with her,
Mhm.
and it turned out she had like 2 kids and a boyfriend anyway.
Yeah.
So as soon as she says that I have a boyfriend, this girl in the front row goes, "I'm single."
Really cute blonde. She
Yeah,
was
really cute
fun.
blonde.
She was fun. Yeah.
And so then I'm like, well, now I got to deal with this.
I know, but you weaved it in really
I
well.
weaved it.
You sang the songs and people were they were along for the ride. And
Yeah.
so at the end, the biggest compliment is that they were like, that had to have been set up. How did he do all that? And it was just amazing. So there you go.
Well, thank you.
Testament to all of your years of comedy. Good.
Well, thank you so much. But enough about me. I have talked about myself nonstop on this podcast, and I have you. I want to hear about you.
Mhm.
Let the audience know who you are. I know a little bit, but I don't know
know.
enough, and I want to know everything.
Okay, well, first and foremost, hello, I'm so happy to be here. So everybody that knows me calls me Diva Danielle.
Diva Danielle.
Yeah,
I
or
get
they'll
no
just-
diva from you at all.
No, not like crazy drama because I don't have any of that surrounding my life. It's positive, it's
Yeah.
upbeat, it's supportive, it's loving, it's
Yeah.
encouraging.
Yes. Yes.
But I always just, go by Diva or Diva Danielle. And my backstory is professionally, I've always worked in media. So I got my
Okay.
start in California working in radio, and I won a radio contest. Being the 19th caller on the last day, listened to my favorite station in the small little agricultural town of Salinas, California,
Heck yeah.
which took me to the 2000 Grammy Awards. So I
Wait,
know,
hold
that
on.
was the contest.
I need to unpack all of that. So you called in to a
Mhm.
radio show. You
Yep.
were number 19 on whatever.
On the last day to qualify for the contest.
On the last day to
Mhm.
qualify. What was the contest?
That you can win a trip to LA to go to the 2000 Grammy Awards.
And you called in and you got it.
Yep.
Off to the Grammys.
I was off to the Grammys and I had a wonderful time. Took one of my good friends, Kareen. We went to LA. We got to see, and when you're at the Grammys, it's very different than when you watch it on TV because you get to see all of the takes in between.
Yeah.
The changing of the sets, the costumes, all the ins and outs. And
Yes.
It was a lot of fun. So I took in everything. And then we went to a little after party afterward, had a wonderful time, got lots of pictures, lots of food and drink. Which I don't do. I don't drink alcohol. But anyway,
Okay.
I absorbed myself into it. It was a good time.
I like it.
Came back, told my story on the air, was super animated, over the top, gave some great details. The program director at the time gets a hold of me and says, you need to work in radio. You get it. And I was like, I don't want to work here. I just like the personalities. So long story short, I turned them down 3 times.
Heck
But
yeah.
eventually I took the job in radio, which led to a promotion for me to move here in 2002 to do radio. And so I
No
worked
way.
in radio, I worked in television. And when I was in California, I would do stuff with the radio station without even working there. So winning that contest was just a catalyst to get me in the door to start this as my career. But part of the things that they would let me do when I started moving up into the, workings of radio was they would say, Danielle, you can go down to the comedy club, hang out with the headliner. He's going to come be on the morning show and promote himself. So I would get to go down there. I met all these different comedians. Darren Carter was one of them.
Oh, Darren Carter, the party starter?
Yes, he was one of them. He would come and be on our show all the time.
Heck yeah. Love Darren.
So I would go to Monterey down to Planet Gemini, and I met all these different comedians, and they would give me an opportunity. So the people that worked there would be like, okay, you get to host tonight. So just introduce the comics, have some fun. So it was great. And these comics gave me such wonderful advice. They're like, you're always here, you're hanging out, you're fun, you're a natural. If you ever want to do comedy, do it when you feel you have some life experience, some stories to tell, and you can be your authentic self without missing a beat.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So fast forward, did all the TV, the radio, and about 2014, I decide, I think I want to go do some comedy.
2014? That's when
So
I started.
what?
Stand up, yeah.
Yeah. So I
Stand
went
up.
to an open mic. And in
Here?
Yeah.
Which one?
Scottsdale.
Scottsdale. The old Howard Hughes Club?
Yep.
No
That
way.
was my first open
That
mic.
was my first open mic.
What? Look
Yeah.
at us connected.
Yeah.
See? The universe is speaking.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had nothing written out, nothing planned. I just went up there and just sort of told who I was and just wanted to hear myself and feel what it would be like to be in front of individuals.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I started networking with comics, and they said, you need to write at least 3 to 5 minutes of information about something you can speak on without missing a beat.
Yeah.
That comes naturally.
Yeah.
So naturally. I spoke about my glorious wigs, my love of wigs. I said my crown. Let's talk about wigs. So I worked up to a 3-minute, then a 5-minute set on my hair.
On wigs.
Mm-hmm.
On wigs.
Because it was natural, it was easy, it was something I knew.
Well, the wigs were natural.
It was somewhat. Once they came off them other scalps and they were mended and put together, I added some juice and some grease and made it natural, honey. I made it real natural.
Love it.
But yeah, it was so that was sort of like my coming of age and coming to comedy and finally getting into it versus being on the radio and working with these different comics and having them be, share their information so people would come down and see them at the club. But they were so much fun.
So
I love it.
that was 2014. Mm-hmm. So you do your first open mic, and then did you go like full board comedy? Were you still doing radio? What were you up to then?
No. So not full board comedy, just still learning the, techniques and understanding comedy and doing local shows. But I still worked in radio and television. So I was doing news talk radio. I did some traffic. I was on TV, doing freelance for different places. And then, it just sort of morphed into people knowing that you're doing this and, hey, well, you need to come host our event and get up there and rick-a-dick-a-doo and tell some jokes, And it's like, oh, okay.
I want to see the email that says, we need you to rick-a-dick-a-doo.
Right? It's just so crazy.
We need a little rick-a-dick-a-doo, everybody.
So it was just fun, and people started coming out, and they want to support you because they just want to see you do well, and they're just like, what? You're doing stand-up?
Yeah.
Which is so, like, for most people, the scariest thing in the world because it's next to public speaking, getting in front of individuals. But I loved it, and it opened up doors, and I figured it was just an extra boost of confidence that I could build on, and it was, anyway, I was already doing that kind of stuff when I worked in TV and radio. You would have to go and host concerts and events, and if you could stall for time, think quick on your feet, add a little humor, ad-lib, and really work on those skills, people pay for that, especially if they're looking for a host for an event.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff. So I used it to my advantage. So that was part of, the reason besides just the love of being creative, trying to figure out how to write creatively and get up there and be expressive and have some fun and just connect because comedians are the best.
Yeah.
They're so much fun. So yeah, it's just an extension of who I am, what I do, and just how my life has kind of been.
I love that.
Isn't it crazy?
I love it.
Yeah. No, like a lot of people look at me and they don't see that. They see the journalist.
Right.
But they don't see that. They're like, you do stand up?
Right.
What? Oh my God, I'd be so nervous.
Yeah.
That's what I always hear. I always hear that. Yeah.
So I love all of that. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. So I'm very passionate on going for dreams in your life. And
Right.
that's really was the catalyst for me starting this, as I
Mhm.
consider myself a dreamer. I have big dreams. I go for them. And just the pursuit of the dream to
Right.
me is what gives my life a lot of meaning. And so
Mhm.
I would love to hear, what dreams are do you have? Do you have anything that you're going for?
Right.
What
Yeah.
what are you passionate about? Obviously comedy radio,
Mhm.
but talk to me about that in the framework of going for dreams. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Dreams, the
Dreams,
impossible
possible dream.
dream. I love it. I think everything deserves a song.
I know,
Like
right?
I be in the grocery store sometimes. Tomatoes on sale. See, that's what I need, right? It is so much fun. I
I am
love
the
it.
same way. I break
I
into songs
think
spontaneously all of the
right.
time.
Everything needs a song.
Right. Hey,
Okay,
let's make
so
sure we're pointing this towards that. There you
get it
go.
there, get
All
it.
right,
So
we need to
yeah,
start over. Just kidding.
you're so silly. So yes, I do have a lot of dreams.
Let's
One of
hear.
my biggest dreams was to, because I've always been sort of a connector. I love stories.
Yeah.
So I love stories and I love hearing other people's stories because it's what connects us and finding that common denominator. So for me, I always knew I wanted to have my own show or some kind of venue to where I could spotlight, especially individuals who were the underserved, the less appreciated, the voices that you didn't hear. Because I believe that nonprofits and people in the community that are in the trenches, they are the backbone of our community.
Yeah.
They have the most compassion. A lot of them start their nonprofit from something that was horrific or life changing, and they just want to make it better. So they throw caution to the wind. They go, all in, broke as ever, navigating these charted waters that they don't know what they're doing, but they do it with a smile on their face. And I
Yeah.
love that. So when I was working in television and radio, mostly in television, I volunteered immensely in the community and I loved it. Met a ton of nonprofits. And from there, it helped me cultivate a better skill set for interviewing, for communicating, and for listening. So I started working with children who were in nonprofits
Yeah.
because I could see them doing the work and they were so passionate about it, but they really didn't know how to articulate why and tell other people why they do what they do. And I said, if you can get to the point where you can speak on why you do what you do to help this nonprofit, giving of your time, people will buy into it and they'll want to help the nonprofit because they're so enthralled that you look at you, you're 9 years old, you come here twice a week and you volunteer to help out
Right.
and they want to know why and then you share the why behind what you do. It makes people feel a little bit more compelled to say, oh, okay, well, then let me figure out a way that I could help this organization. So from there, I created what I call the Junior Public Speaking League. And I took all my skills that I learned in journalism and I started funneling them through these kids, helping them to understand that their voice is powerful, how to articulate and use their words, and also improve their vocabulary while boosting their confidence so they could speak on what they're doing. It turned into opportunities for me to do more things in the community, to create a program and a workshop. But in the beginning, I didn't know that. I was just doing what I enjoyed and what I
Yeah.
loved. And then from that, I sort of just, the word started getting out, working with different nonprofits. But then things took a turn.
Uh-oh.
So in 2018, and I'm always someone who like physically takes care of myself. I love working out. I love watching what I eat, but I like to eat everything. I'm a foodie, okay?
Hey,
So,
nothing wrong with that.
you know, but I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke, and I've never smoked. And in 2018, I went from working out 6 days a week, eating healthy and clean, taking care of myself, having severe pain in my back. It started out very minor, and then it got worse as the months went on, and I was progressively losing weight. Couldn't figure out why. Go to the doctor, do an MRI on my spine. I was 94 pounds at the time, and I didn't realize I was as thin as I was. 94 pounds, and I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer.
Oof.
It spread to my spine, my pelvis, my shoulders. It's concentrated in my bones, and to this day, I still get treatments. It is insane, but I've had everything done. But so that in itself ended my career in television, so I thought. And I used, because I was on TV and people were trying to figure out, why is she so thin? What is going on with her? So once I shared the news on the television station at the time that I was going through cancer and this is why I'm getting so thin, it opened up a door of conversations. But it ended my career at the television station, but it opened up an opportunity for me to do something and create a platform for myself doing everything that I had already been doing up to that point. So I became my own news story, and I shared every aspect of it on social media with videos, live chats, pictures, and I showed the positive side of what it looks like to go through cancer. I would always do my hair and makeup. I'd do it with a smile on my face. I would show up, I would have fun, and that became my platform, my stage to work on different material, to be in front of people,
Yeah.
to share my voice. And it opened the door for a conversation for other non smokers who get lung cancer. So everything that I've been doing helped me sharpen my tools for speaking engagements, comedy, hosting, creating content. And I used all that to launch my business called Diva Strong Media because everybody calls me Diva. I hashtagged everything Diva Strong when I was sick, and I have a media background. So Diva Strong Media.
Yeah.
And now I just help, individuals, educational institutions understand the importance of sharing their words, articulating their thoughts in a cohesive, concise manner, and doing it well so they can be respected and not disrespected, but also elevate their confidence because we all have something to say and it's all tied into those stories, which is our connector. So everything that I did from the very beginning has come full circle in my life, and I use it to the fullest, and I love it. So my dreams have come true because I,
Yeah.
get to interview people, I get to be in the community, I get to speak, I get to do podcasts, I get to continue to share the positive. And that's all I ever wanted to do when I started in this. And so I'm living, breathing, and doing it all still while going through my cancer journey, but feeling fabulous in this hair.
And looking
and then get to
fabulous.
wear my hair.
Mhm,
So it's good,
yeah.
right? So
Wow.
that's it. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
I tell
First of
you.
all, thank you so much for sharing all of
Yeah,
that.
you're
And
welcome.
I had seen on your social media, I knew
Mhm.
that you had experienced cancer before. I didn't know where it was at.
Mhm.
So where is that at now? Is it in
I
remission?
know
I'm
everybody
pretty
wants to
ignorant to
know.
speak about
No,
it.
no, it's
So
good. Everybody always asks because they'll look at me and I still work out, I still take care of myself, and I
yeah,
never look like I'm sick. And that
yeah.
was my whole goal. I never wanted to look sick and sad. I wanted to be fabulous. I wanted to show the good side of having this horrible disease. So I went from my 94 pounds to where I am today, still working out, trying to eat healthy. It's so hard because
Oh
I
my
do
gosh.
love my snacks.
I
But it's,
You will
yeah,
get no judgment
it's
from me on
so crazy.
dietary
I know. It is
restrictions.
so crazy. But I've been, it's been 5 years because it was November 21st of 2018 when I was first diagnosed.
Hmm.
So it's been 5 years since I've had the cancer. I still have my port because I receive treatments every 2.5 months because it concentrated so much in my bones.
I don't know what a port is, so you're gonna
Oh,
have
yeah.
to speak a
Oh,
little
stop a
ignorant.
little bit. I have to show you. So a port, I don't know if you can even see
Oh,
it. It's
okay.
this.
Okay.
So they put a little device in here and it hooks up to one of your main blood vessels and arteries. And this is what they puncture, poke, and put the needle in so you can receive your medication. So you don't have to use your veins because your
Gotcha.
veins will collapse over time.
Yeah.
They get super sore. You're in your arms, your hands. So if you port to a main blood vessel, it's super easy and simple.
Right.
So I have the port. I've used that for years. And yeah, I take a pill every day and I get every 2.5 months my treatment. I still get scans on the regular blood work and stuff so they can keep on top of things. And I would love to think I was in remission because this is how I live my life like I am. But the cancer cells are still active because it started in my lungs but never spread there. It
Uh-huh.
spread everywhere else: spine, pelvis, shoulder.
Oof,
Then
brutal.
in December of last year, so I was feeling good. Then I started, thinking, okay, yeah, sometimes I'm a little tired. Go get my scan. My doctor says, well, we're going to do like we always do, the comparison. So they looked at the scan from a few months before to the scan I recently had at the end of November. And he says, if you'll notice, the spot in your lung has gotten bigger. We don't want these cells to grow, but this one is. And it never grew in 5 years. So it all of a sudden it decided it wanted to show off. It's like a man you don't want in your life. He just be peeking and popping up when you don't want him.
Oh, trust me, I'm that for many women.
So that's what I refer my cancer to. He's my boo that I don't want. He just be hanging on by a thread.
It's like, I thought I blocked you on social media.
He be popping
now you're
up.
showing up in my work.
He be popping up. So I had to get radiation treatments for a week to just address the issue in my lung. And I felt really good. And then about 3 weeks after it hit me really hard. And I was super tired. I could feel it in my body. but my doctor said that would happen. So yeah, I would love to think mentally I live like I am in remission, and physically I do, but I'm not. I tell everybody this is my new normal. So until
Yeah.
the cancer cells are clear, until they don't see anything, until, because there's a lot of them that are still just sort of stagnant and they've been sitting there. Like there's one on my lower spine that's been just sitting there. And he goes, it's kind of like your lung. It just sits there. And he goes, it hasn't grown, it hasn't shrunk. And then the first time in 5 years, this one in the lung has changed. So he goes, we just got to monitor, but keep doing what you're doing. And every time I go, nobody thinks I'm there to get treatment, because I will. I wear high heel shoes and sundresses off the shoulder. And I be trying to look cute. I got big earrings on, hair, makeup. I bring my little tripod because I'll be taking selfies. And then I sit down and people are like, oh, you're here to get treatment? I'm like, yes. And they never think that. And a lot of the nurses, they'll come over and they'll be like, we just came to see what you were wearing today.
Yeah.
How you doing, Danielle? So
They're
it's
like,
become
sorry,
a thing.
Club 56 is up the street. I think
Right.
you landed in the ER.
Right.
You were supposed to be.
It is so crazy because I'm the only one who stands out and looks completely different when I go to the cancer center, and I go over in Scottsdale, and you go in and everybody, and it's true, everybody looks like they're going through a terminal illness. But I
Right.
walk in there and I'll be like, hey, I got my big bag. I got colorful shoes on, hair's done, makeup, big earrings. Yeah, and I'm taking selfies. Sometimes I do videos. I'll be doing Facebook Lives, and they're coming over. They're doing the, insert with the medicine, and I'm showing everybody so I can keep explaining. And
Wow.
you get lots of positive, comments, and it just helps fuel you, and it just makes your day because it helps you push further. And I'm happy to say that all of this that I've done has been not only a highlight in my life, but it's been an inspiration. And I've met
heck yeah.
women across the country and around the world who have all different types of cancers. And I get a number of people, I can't even tell you, that'll email me, text me, hit me up on social media. My cousin was just diagnosed. She's having a hard time with it. Can you at least talk to her? I told her to check out your profile because of the way you've handled your cancer. Oh my goodness, my aunt, she's going through it again. It's been 10 years. She was free and clear. Now she's got it in a different part of her body and she's freaking out. I told her she needs to talk to you, Diva. Can you talk to her? If I give her your phone number, would you call her? All these people, but then you have these amazing connections because cancer affects everybody at some level. And then you just open the door to be that soundboard for them, to listen, because I get it. I've been through it all. I've had surgery on my spine. I've had rounds of chemo. I've had radiation 3 times. I had to have it on my shoulder twice, in my lung. It's just crazy down in my pelvis area because the cancer is crazy. It's like that man. He can't get enough of the chocolate. He can't get enough of the chocolate. He's hanging on. He wants some more. And I said, go away. You got to take a step back because Diva ain't playing. The cancer is my own and I'm trying to get rid of it. I don't need you today. I don't need you today. Oh, I don't need you today. Babu, babu, babu.
Come on. How oftentimes do you get a beatboxer to back you up?
I'm gonna be like, hey Paul, I just need a beat. I'm here at the cancer center. Can you give me a beat?
I will throw that down.
We
should do lives. I'm gonna come to your next cancer treatment. Yes. I'll bring my piano.
Oh my God, they would love that.
We'll improvise.
Be so wild.
We will improvise. You sing, I'll just lay down a
People
piano
lay in
track.
with their blankets and they're pushed back in the chairs. They'll be like, what just happened here? What is going on? It would liven the place up. Oh my gosh. Sure.
This is so amazing. My mind is going wild with all kinds of thoughts and different tangents we could take this. Mm-hmm. There's a very powerful principle here that keeps surfacing when I talk about going for dreams and everything, but this idea that you are showing up living the life that you want to live.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
living the best life. I tell people the cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me. I remember it was about a month in because I had to have 30 days of intense radiation when I was first diagnosed. Wow. And I went to my doctor and I told him, I said, nothing, I've always believed this because I have a strong mental mindset. I said, nothing happens just to happen. There is a reason why I got this stage 4 lung cancer. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill my cancer with kindness. I'm going to wrap myself around it. I'm going to love up on it. And I'm going to be the best thing that has ever happened to me. Because I said I was doing everything right. Working out, eating healthy, taking care of myself. I got it for a reason. And it created this incredible platform. So now I get invited to different cancer functions. I get to speak. I get to inject humor. I get to show a completely different side of it, because people will look at you. They'll be networking with you, talking with you, and they'll never think you're the guest speaker who has had the cancer.
Yeah.
And then I get up there and they're like, what?
Right.
So it blows their mind. And it just creates this conversation, and it helps people feel relaxed. And there's a portion, depending on how much time I get to do when I am doing my set for comedy, that I will share some of the cancer, and I'll sprinkle in some jokes and tags with it. And 9 times out of 10, as soon as I get off the stage, I am bombarded, mostly with women. There have been a few men, but mostly women. Oh my gosh, my sister 3 years ago was diagnosed. She should have came to this show. That's amazing. You look like nothing has ever happened to you. Thank you for sharing. I'm so glad. We need to follow you. We're going to follow you on Instagram. Yeah. And then they want to connect with you. Or some people come up to me. You would be amazing. Do you do speaking? Because we have a corporate function every year, and we're always looking for motivational speakers. I'm going to let my boss know about you. Yeah. And it just opens the door, because people want to be inspired. They want to have hope. They want to see someone who has come through to give them that insight to say, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, it's not easy. You have to be your own champion and cheerleader. It is a lot of work, but I've been living this way for a long time. So I get it. And it's, I want to be here. So I'm going to put up a fight. I'm never going to just, lay down and not do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I will lay down for some things. Okay.
What? What just happened?
But not for this the cancer.
Podcast was so wholesome. I mean, what just happened? So wholesome.
I think it was the hair. The hair just started talking.
Well, we know it wasn't my hair.
It was a
we
Karen
know
moment.
It wasn't my hair.
It was a crazy Karen moment that just came out. What just happened? What just happened? Oh my goodness. He's over here crying.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. It's good.
All right. Okay. So she will lay down for some things. We just need to make sure.
Like yoga. I'll lay down for hot yoga. Something. When I'm stretching.
Yeah. That's what we all thought.
It's late, you do. You got to take those breaks. You got to take those breaks.
So.
Oh my goodness.
That's incredible. Mm-hmm. Let's talk. Okay, so I want to hear more about this organization then that you created around this whole idea. This the Diva. Oh my gosh, I already forgot the name of it.
Diva Strong Media.
Yeah, Diva Strong Media. So tell me more. What's going on with that? How is that going? How can people learn more about that? Work with you?
Oh, nice.
Let's talk about it.
So Diva Strong Media is my business. I'm an entrepreneur, but I utilize my skill set as a former broadcast journalist. And what I do is, like I said, I work with educational institutions, different companies, entities, sometimes just entrepreneurs by themselves, to help them either prepare for a speech, prepare for a presentation they have coming up, give them some insight on how to craft and write different things.
Yeah.
And then just, show them a opposite side of what they're so used to. So many people gravitate toward the technology because it's the first thing that we are doing all the time. But sometimes you have to take and look at the practical uses of just old school applications. So to give you an example, 2022, I was given the opportunity to work with the Chandler School District. So I was in 3 of their schools working with 5th graders. In each school, I had 3 classes of 5th graders. My whole job was to come in and help elevate their vocabulary, show them that their voice is powerful and that they can do little things to boost their confidence just by the words they speak and choose. So I went in, and my whole premise is, I love technology, don't get me wrong, but I am an old school practical girl. And I believe that sometimes you need to go back to move you forward. So I take technology out of my fundamental educational process. And I give these kids an opportunity to do things that they don't do on the regular, which is look things up in a dictionary. I have a number of different typewriters.
Just real quick, a dictionary is this book that has every word and the definition.
It's kind of like the phone book. Oh, remember the phone book, the yellow pages?
The phone book, kids, is...
Oh, so crazy. No privacy whatsoever.
I know,
the
right?
phone book. But yeah, so I would tell the schools ahead of time, you got to get the dictionaries and have them in the room. And they have their libraries and stuff, so the classrooms would have maybe 1 or 2. Because she goes, we don't use them, really.
Right, yeah.
So I had them bring the dictionaries. I also would bring in my typewriters because I want to give these kids an experience that they're not getting to help creatively start thinking. I have to get them to understand how to write a story, what a story looks like, what it sounds like, and all the components, because the majority of kids aren't reading books to where they have to write a report, they have to reference things, they have to research. So when you take away the use of a lot of your cognitive thinking, imagination, tangible, because your body has to feel and go off of all these senses. You have to smell the different pages. You have to visualize. You have to verbalize, write it down, think it out, be able to process elaboration and the fact that you are creating something and all the elements it takes to get to the resolve of the answer. Technology takes that away from children. It takes it away from society. So I try to bring it to these kids so they'll understand. So I try to get them to understand just practical things, what a story is, what it looks like, all the components of writing a story. And let me tell you, that was work. Just using the imagination was a lot of work. Getting them to describe words. And then ultimately, the goal was to get them to write a small paragraph titled "This Is Me" to share in front of their peers. So at the end of the 5-week program, they would stand up with confidence and share a little bit about themselves after learning the components and elements to get them to write that with conviction. So that's what I've done. And I've worked with different businesses to help their employees prepare for job interviews, sometimes entities to prepare for television interviews.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people don't understand just some of the practical things you need to know when you're going to be on television, because the camera does do different things to you. Your angles are important. The things you wear, the words you choose, the hair you want to, the way you wear your hair. All of these things play into, and a lot of people don't know that. And you want to put your best foot forward, especially if you're, trying to get people to buy into your product or service.
Yeah.
Nonprofits, especially, to help them, because a lot of times they have to speak before individuals to get grants and funding. And so they're going to banks sometimes. They're going to different financial institutions. Or sometimes they're just meeting with individuals on a panel who do write out grants and want to hear their story. And so getting them to the point where they can use their imagination, express with freedom the why behind what they do in a way that captivates a person's attention to say, oh my gosh, I am so moved. Yes, we want to help fund your business. Yes, we want to help move your foundation forward. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being your authentic self and being able to just be vulnerable with us. And a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And public speaking is a fear for many. So being able to help them get comfortable a little bit to where they can at least get through the basics is what I do. So now I'm working with the city of Phoenix. I'm in the Burton Bar Library, and I've created a series of workshops for them to help specifically with entrepreneurs break out their business in different levels. And it all centers around business communication, which is public speaking, writing, your brand, presentations, and presenting yourself, networking with purpose, all that. So that's what I've been doing, and I love it.
Wow. I'm just sitting there thinking, like, I probably need all of your services. I'm sitting there going, like,
fine.
I'm sitting there going, like, are my angles good? Is this the good shirt for the movie?
We want to look slim and trim.
Am I speaking good? Are my words goodly?
Goodly. My words goodly. So yeah, that's what I do, and I love it, and I get to meet so many interesting people. And again, it ties back to everything I do.
Yeah.
It's the stories, because those are our connectors, and everybody has a unique story that sets them apart, that sets the tone. And a lot of people don't know how to incorporate their story into their business as an entrepreneur. But those are some elements that I help them with as well. And it just gets you to where you want to be.
Well, not to brag.
Oh, boots.
But
toot that horn, honey. Beep,
I
beep.
did win best speech in my Toastmasters group back in LA.
Ooh, I love that. Toastmasters is pretty
3 years
tricky.
Ago.
Yeah, Toastmasters is pretty tricky.
And then I went to the semifinals, and I did not win.
No, but you were in the building.
In the humor category, by the way.
Oh. Well,
so as a stand-up comedian,
not saying.
It was political.
Oh,
anyway,
yes, right.
I made it about me again, and this is about you, boo.
You're so silly. I love it, though. I love it. I love it.
So let's see. Let's talk about by the way, again, thank you for sharing all of this. I am
you're
just
welcome.
eating all this up. I'm so glad you're here. I'm having such a great time with you. And when I look at anybody pursuing their dreams, there's always this element of discouragement, things that aren't going well, and learning to navigate that. And I would love to just get some of your feedback, how you navigate that, your thought process, if you have a strategy or whatever, just to help all of us out there going for dreams and when it doesn't go well.
It's a lot. And navigation is hard because it's up to you to figure out what path you want to take. And there's so many different avenues you can try. Things that work for me is like I'm a firm believer in less is more. And for people who are the experts in their field, utilize them. Don't try to take on everything yourself. Utilize your friends and their expertise, or reach out to individuals. Network with people you know who are good at certain things that you need assistance with. Learn from them, grow, and then figure out ways to incorporate it when it's needed for you and use it how you need to use it. So I don't take on everything for myself. I do what I can do, and the things that I don't know how to do, I associate myself and affiliate myself with individuals who are good in that field. See what I can do to help them with whatever they're doing, because you want to give back, and then see what they can do to help you. It's a two-way street, but you got to be open to understanding that you can't do it all. You're going to need some help. So rely on and look to those individuals who are really doing what it is that you can't do well to help you continue on the road so you can get to where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. So finding your people, delegating, finding what your strengths are, and delegating everything else. Absolutely love that. And what about some words of encouragement for anybody out there who maybe has a dream, is afraid to go for it? What would you say?
You know, you hear this all the time. Life is too short. Tomorrow, seriously, is not promised. Look at me. I went from having stage 4 lung cancer, 94 pounds, to being where I am today, 5 years
on the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast, the epitome of professional success.
It's just crazy. You first and foremost, you have to be your own champion and cheerleader.
Yeah.
You got to get your mental mindset right. It all starts with you. Anything you want to do is not going to come from your best friend. It's not going to come from the person that you idolize on TV. Everything starts with you. You are the change in your life. And so you have to be your own champion and cheerleader. And you can't do it all at once. Baby steps. And I equate everything to hiking Camelback. My number one goal physically was to get back to hiking Camelback. And I kept telling my doctors I'm going to do it. So one of my hiking friends found me a snow globe with Camelback Mountain in it. And she gave that to me when I was going through my intense chemo and radiation. And I was still so weak. And then I started just pushing, walking around my apartment complex, walking around my neighborhood. Then I got to where I was doing a little bit more. And I was telling my mom, we need to walk the canals. Little by little, small progressions. Then I would drive to Piestewa Peak. And I would just walk up to the first little bridge, come back, go home mentally the next day. Okay, what can I do? So you have to take baby steps. The mountain is going nowhere. The journey is long. It is a marathon, but for each step you take, you get closer. You build strength, you build conviction, and you build that endurance within yourself because you're the only one who can do it to get you to the top. And let me tell you something. It is the best feeling in the world because when I finally got to where I was, my breathing, my body stamina, my capacity to get to the top of Camelback Mountain. And I would always take pictures and put them on social media. And people were like, I can't believe you are hiking. This is crazy. And I was still like getting treatments and stuff. I would be uncomfortable. I'd be sore. But I kept telling myself, my body's a muscle. It's a machine. Everything good I give it is going to be a reward. And it's going to give it back to me 10 times. So once I got to the top of Camelback Mountain, breathing heavy, tired, sore, elated with joy, I remember looking out over the city and saying, I'm so blessed to live in this beautiful place because nature gives you everything you need. And mentally, but by the time I was down the mountain, your body relinquishes the pain, the struggle, the agony that you went through. And your body has a way of giving you the endorphins, the hormones, and everything you need to feel joy, to feel good. And that's what it's there for. You will struggle, you will push, you will breathe heavy, you'll be uncomfortable. But as soon as you reach the pinnacle of where you want to be, your body releases it and gives you that permission, if you allow it, to say, job well done. You did it. And all you feel is good.
Yeah.
So keep pushing. You want to feel good. You want to be the best you can be.
Danielle. Diva Danielle. My gosh, I feel like we're in church. Amen.
Can I get a
hey? Jesus is my Lord.
I'm going to give my Mariah. I can't sing to save my life. That's so crazy.
Well, I am so grateful that you came out here.
I'm so thankful
Thank you for sharing that incredible insight, your journey. I'm so glad that I got to know you better.
Yeah.
So glad that you did this. And again, just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm sure everybody who listened to this will be so inspired by your story. How can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's the #1 and only Diva Danielle. So one and only Diva Danielle. And my website to my business is DanielleDivaStrongMedia.com. You can email me through there. You can read my story. You can see the work I do. And if you need a speaker, motivational, inspirational, you need someone to come and rig-a-dig-a-do at your next Christmas party, I am there for it. So get a hold of me. It's all good.
Oh my gosh. Everybody, Danielle Williams, thank you again so much. This is the Paul Green Comedy Podcast. I love you all so much. I hope your dreams are coming true. You're out there going for what you want in life. You're finding joy in that journey, pushing through the discouragement. I think we got some great advice from Danielle today. So again, thank you all so much for listening. I love you, and I will talk to you tomorrow.